Kev, with Burton off on Saturday, Brentford B is now the next game on Monday. How are preparations going for that?
Yeah, good. The week will be, this week leading into it, will be mainly kind of behaviours-based training, working on kind of refreshing them, fitness, as a whole squad really, not just the lads that are playing in the Brentford game. And then we'll be in on Sunday for the final prep day. I go through a bit of shape, a little bit of understanding, so obviously it's where you're going to bring in some of the 21s and some of the under 18 lads, and then we travel on Monday, and it'll be a really good test.
Obviously we recently played Brentford B at the Park and it was a really tight affair that was settled by Lucas header. Are you kind of expecting more of the same on Monday?
Yeah, I think they'll be quite keen to put one over on us. I think it hurt them when we beat them at our place. I really enjoyed that game. I said it after. I really enjoyed the feel of it. I enjoyed it when the 18s lads came on and gave it a really good go. And obviously we scored our goal when we'd made the changes as well. But it was a really tight, well fought, well contested game of football. They've got some outstanding players that have got Premier League aspirations, and we've got lads that want to build up, get into our team and kind of kick on in League One and see where that takes them. So players that are at slightly different positions and have different pathways to where they want to get. So I'm really looking forward to the test, but I would imagine they'll want to beat us, and we need to go there and make sure that we're organised, we're compact, we're together, and that we're ready for what's coming.
And we saw last season, Ethan impressed for Brentford B against us in this competition. Do these games also give you an opportunity to look at the kind of players that we might be able to entice down to Devon and get on loan in future seasons? Yeah,
and we've obviously over the last few years we've had a really good relationship with Brentford. They've understood we try and play a certain brand of football that allows their more technical players to come down here and thrive. It's worked well with players like Tristan and Tony Yagani and Trev, and now we've obviously got Ethan this year, so we've got a really good relationship with them. We know they've got some good players. We get to see them kind of up close and personal in this game on Monday, but it also is an opportunity for our lads to stand up against that, show that we've got the answers in the building, and push for their own first team aspirations.
And we've got off to a really strong start again this season. 3 matches, 7 points, not conceded a goal yet, so the 3 coaches must be pretty happy with how we're progressing.
Yeah, and they've all been different games, they've all been different challenges. We know we need to win at least one more and maybe a draw out of the last kind of 3 games to qualify. We really want to qualify for the next round of it, and this is the first opportunity that we get. So it's been a positive experience so far. We've seen a nice mix of 18s, 21s and some of the first team lads that have needed kind of match minutes. It'll be a little bit similar on Monday, but yeah, we'll be prepped, we'll be ready, and we'll be looking forward to it.
For someone like Jack Bycroft, who joined us with aspirations of maybe being a future number 1 here, obviously this gives him opportunity to play, and he's yet to concede a goal in the competition. So I guess, are you happy with how he's progressing as well?
Yeah, no, Jack's played in a couple of the games to start with. He's done really well. He's played in the EFL trophy games as well, and I think he's showing that he's capable of pushing Joe. He's showing that he's building his confidence and his understanding of how we play, and yeah, he's definitely one for, I wouldn't say the future, he's one for now, but he's certainly one that can be pushing and trying to get into the first team on a regular basis.
What progression have you seen from the team from that first game in the competition as well this season?
I think that's quite a difficult question, because the honest answer is the team's been slightly different as you've gone through it. When we're planning these games, it's a little bit different to first team, because at the last minute a player coming back from injury might actually be available for 45 minutes, and it's an opportunity to get them closer to the first team. At the same time, an under 18 player who might have had an opportunity, as is the example this week, is now suspended and can't play in this competition, so it frees up an opportunity for another one. There's a lot of last minute hitches in prep for these games that you don't necessarily get in first team games, because the squad is picked from an array of different age groups and different places, I suppose. So yeah, it's not as clear cut as just saying like we were preparing for Burton, this is what we know we've got available and this is how we're going to go about it. We're kind of waiting as the days go by to see who really is available, but we start off with what we think is there and then we adapt, and that's good practice for coaches as well, because one of the things they don't teach you on any of the coaching badges is just how quickly things move, how many times the players that you think you've got change because of a niggle or an injury, or somebody's actually back available, or any of those things. So it's good practice. It keeps us kind of on our toes and ready, and yeah, we're prepped.
And on the flip side of that, it must be pleasing that you can chop and change or not be as prepared, but also the results have been consistent.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think development is about that. It's about making sure that the players are working on the things they need to work on, showing the kind of attributes and skills that they're going to need to show if they're going to get in the first team, and practicing at a really, really good level against really good players. But it's also about winning. You know, winning is the main thing once football becomes your profession, and once you get into that first team realm. You know, we want to play well, we want to perform, but winning is the single most important thing in any game that you go into, and that in itself is a development area for the players, because as you come through an academy, they want to win, but they have to win by academy standards. They have to win by being us. When we get into the first team, they need to understand how important winning is. They need to understand that there are different ways of winning a football match, and we want to play to our principles, we want to play to our tactics, but there's also all the other bits, the nuances within that players need to learn when it comes to seeing out a game if you're 1-0 up, or getting back in a game if you're 1-0 down. And this is a great opportunity to practice it against a really, really good team.
In terms of preparing for these games, do you have the same sort of access to data and footage and everything that you would have if you were preparing for a League One game, or is it slightly different?
Yeah, so it's we get footage from some of their previous games. Obviously, we've got the game that we played against them. It's difficult because their team changes a fair bit as well, as does ours. It gives us an opportunity. So as we know, I've led a couple, Perks is going to lead a couple, Green is leading a couple. So it gives the players a different voice and a different way of doing things. And I've made a real kind of a real thought that I want the players to experience what it'd be like with me as manager, as opposed to with Gary Caldwell or Dan Green or Perks. It gives them a different look, a different feel. And I think that's important, because they're not going to be at Exeter their whole career. They're going to come across different styles of management. It also gives some of the younger guys, so Isaac, who's one of the analysis interns, he does the main prep and the main putting together of the videos that will show the players, the clips that will show them, the kind of keynote moving animations, which don't ask me how they do it, but it looks amazing. So it gives them a chance to practice as well. So this is a development club, and this is an opportunity to develop players, to develop staff, to develop the interns that are here. And I think that's a really, really important part of that process.
We're halfway through the group stage now. Have we set ourselves any targets or anything we want to achieve this year?
We need to qualify first. So again, I would say, if you're asking me about Burton, the next game being the most important, there's nothing they need to worry about other than Brentford. Even more so in this, because of how much the team can chop and change. It's the only real target is that we want to qualify from this group. We want to see how far we can get in the competition, but the only way we can do that is make sure that we're ready for this next game at Brentford. And
this game has been played at Wheatsheaf Park as well, where fans can attend. We've got a big number of London-based Grecians as well, so I guess you'd encourage them to get down and show some support, because it'd be great for the lads to hear some singing and see some familiar faces.
Definitely, and that was one of the good things when we had Brentford at home. There was a good crowd, they got involved, it was exciting. Obviously we ended up winning. This is an opportunity now for some of those kind of London-based fans to come over and have a look at the next generation, have a look at some of the younger players coming through, get behind them and give them a real good experience both ways.